some there.
Is it what
I thought it's out of the system.
is it what we are talking about here? Most of the times, when it is NADMO, they are more focused on relief distribution than things like this. And what city and other organizations do is, in these circumstances, I believe that if we have a national emergency fund, it's important. We need to set aside maybe 1 or 2% of national budget into a national emergency fund. See, so when things happen like this, because city is good at this, give them this amount of money to go and do this year. This organization has proven to be good in this area, so that helping the people becomes more sustainable.
Right.
Because for NADMO, when things happen, like their main aim is the immediate needs of the people. So they focus on the immediate needs, but the sustainability of livelihoods becomes an issue. So as a country that we don't have a national emergency fund, I believe that we have had so many emergencies that it's about time we all push for that national emergency fund. As Honorable has said, apart from this, there's so many businesses, small businesses that have been affected.
Yeah.
Up to now, nobody can establish what kind of
Especially
support.
those who are in the tilapia industry.
Do you understand it? Last week, I did a story about Bagri Dam for 15 years.
Yeah.
Over 70-something thousand farmlands were lost. That's the people's economic livelihoods. Over 120,000 people were displaced in 15 years. People spend money to go and farm, and their Bagri Dam is open, and then they lose everything.
Yeah.
And then there's no agric insurance in the system to support them. They lose their livestock. They lose it. And then, so if we are all sitting here and we are all admitting that what city has done is good, the question is, if city made the call and the citizens do not respond, does it mean that the state should fail the people? You know, so this voluntary thing that we think that individual organizations are doing, and therefore we are not focusing on the national emergency fund, I think that it's rather a call on government that operationalize a national emergency fund. These institutions on their own have proven that when given resources, they can even deliver these projects within time, more effective than even some of the state institutions. So if we have a national emergency fund, there's an emergency. We look at various institutions and their CSR arms and say, oh, these people are good at this, people are good at that. Okay, we think that when they go there, they rather take time to talk to the people and find out their needs and are able to provide what the people need more.
Exactly.
So let's give them the chance to expand some of this. So I think that it's important as a country that we don't just talk about, Akusumo has happened, it's more than a year, right?
Yeah.
It's more than a year. But we are all saying, if we want to say a concrete way of supporting the people, apart from city doing this and some immediate relief, NADMO has given some health facilities, what about those who lost their farms? Who has given them something? We heard at that time that the World Bank was supposed to support with some money. As we speak now, nobody knows whether that money has really been disbursed to the people or not. So I think that for me, I'll use the opportunity to say that, look, let's think about this. If it's 1% of national revenue for a year that we are going to allocate into a national emergency fund, it becomes so important because even NADMO, when these things happen, sometimes they are running to government to give them some money because they really don't have money in their budgetary. But if there's a national emergency fund, so this is such an emergency that give this amount to NADMO from that fund. Government itself too will not be under any pressure to look for money there because then there's a fund with some money. And not only the budget, then we can actually tell CSR, various companies that as part of your CSR budget, maybe contribute a percentage of CSR budget to the National Emergency Fund. You understand? So individuals can be invited that if you think that there's emergency in Ghana that we want to support, you want to contribute something. Churches, all kind of organizations can be invited that, look, if you contribute this money here, there are clearly down procedures how the money is disbursed and how it is used. Once we are able to establish that this thing can be used effectively, I believe that during emergency, we can help our people more than we have been doing because we have really not been able to support our people in emergency. Most of the time, it's about government not having the money there immediately to support. So the support comes in bits and pieces. But if there's a fund, and we know that 1% of national budgets, companies have been asked to put a percentage of their CSR budget there, churches, all kind of organizations. Every year there'll be some huge amount there that in times of any emergency, money will not be a problem, but strategy and what we can do to help the people effectively becomes what we would rather be thinking about.
I think Elvis has made a very good, valid point, and I think the this is some of the things we do on a program like this to arouse consciousness.
Yeah.
And it's good. I will urge City FM as a follow-up to what we have done to take up what Elvis is saying and let's start the advocacy. Because sometimes, you see, when people come out with such things, we look at the end result and we don't really articulate it well.
Yeah.
So let's see how City, for example, will initiate a very stringent, strong, vibrant advocacy for this. And I will even go further and say, look, for example, these monies that have been wasted on the so-called National Cathedral, those that are billed to refund, even those monies, when the people refund, those monies should be used as a seed capital to set up the National Emergency Fund Elvis is talking about.
Right.
And I will also agree totally. I will even urge him to, for a start, let's even say 0.5% of total national revenue. 0.5% of total national revenue as a seed capital. And as he said, let's even also do advocacy in such a way that all these telecos and other establishments in the countries, we say, as part of your CSR, always make provision for at least 0.5% of your budget, CSR budget, into this National Emergency Fund.
Right.
Because it's critical. We are just now looking at the spillage. He mentioned 15 years of Bagre Dam. Bagre Dam is
being spilled
now. So there will people who will be affected.
True.
Even right now as we're talking, look at the people who have been affected by this little ethnic violence that has cropped up in the Boli Bamboy area, Sola Tunakaba area.
Beniri.
You see. So all these things, then it will help government to meet the expectations on, because when it happens this way, for example, when we're hit by COVID, all of a sudden, we don't have any resilience. We are finished. So now government will have to look at where to take money, and that is what leads to corruption. Because in the emergency situation, everywhere is every surface is being scratched. You understand? When you scratch those surfaces, the accountability becomes difficult. Because we are doing things in the haste, not calculated. There is no plan for it. But when we set up a national emergency fund, as he's talking about, with a very independent, autonomous trustees, so that it will not be partisan, then in situations like this, we can look at how to sustainably help the people rebuild their lives. Because like he's saying, some farmers, it's not because they are, excuse my language, they are not intelligent, but that is their life. So they are farming in this area. Bagre Dam is opened. It spoils their business, their crops, or their livestock. But the following year, they will do the same. Because that is their life. And they get affected. You understand? And then we keep on talking about just the emergency, the cosmetic things that we need to do to give them some reprieve. But the sustainable ones that will rebuild their life, their families, and we don't look at that. So the National Emergency Fund, as we have in the US and other places, is very important. And I think it's a good initiative that we do. Maybe what Elvis can do is, since he has done some work on it, do some paper and have a chat with the Director General of NADMO. Sit down with him and then look at how he can do with his journalistic work and the research he's done in the area. He could add up to the paper. He can also prepare and send to the ministry. The ministry can forward it to cabinet so that we can look at it.
Sure.